Well, in some towns, in the earlier days, they were segregated. In fact, coming in on the grounds would be especially for whites, because they wouldn't even let you come in if it was strictly for white people, and but they knew that within the city before they come to the fairgrounds, so the people wouldn't mix up like that. But there were times when blacks would be hard-headed. They gonna come in anyway.
For the past 10 years, I've been traveling across the country, documenting my grandfather, Leon Claxton's legacy of Harlem in Havana. This wildly popular Black and Cuban revue had a major impact on American entertainment in the mid-20th century, when the outdoor amusement world was the epicenter of popular culture, and the Midway was the place to go to be enticed by a beautiful brown-skinned showgirl dancing in an all-colored musical comedy.
Leon Claxton's Harlem Revue was arguably the best girl show, black or white, that ever came down the pipe.
Its success with Royal American was phenomenal. I don't know anything that could have ever have beaten that. The class and the amount of talent that he brought in from Cuba, it was just phenomenal. It was unbelievable.
Black people, these beautiful black women dressed in these costumes that were just stunning. They could dance, they could sing. It was just an absolutely hypnotic kind of experience to see this.
I would liken it to a Las Vegas style revue or a burlesque show, which means it had dancers, singers, comedians, any kind of unique type of stage show they put them on. Many of the musicians that went on to become famous today actually started on All American shows on Harlem and Havana.
There was no internet, there were no cell phones. TV was brand new, and Harlem and Havana was a standout live activity presentation that featured African American entertainers, and there was absolutely nothing like that in Little Rock.
The crowds in front of the shows when they did the Bally were huge, just huge. Sometimes we'd have to go back around the tent to get down the Midway because it was blocked.
And he said, well, they're warming up, they're getting ready. And at that moment, there came a time when my mom bought the tickets, and we walked up the steps there on the Bally platform. And there we were. We walked into the tent, took our seats, and a few moments later, the show began. And that was that first awareness of Harlem and Havana.
For me, the story begins in Tampa, Florida, where I spent every summer as a child. You see, my sisters and I were born in Los Angeles, California, to a talented family, and my pops is a longtime musician who's been playing the conga drums for as long as I can remember.
My birth name is Johnny Cunningham Jr. That's my birth name. When I went to work for United Airlines in 1969, Johnny, first of all, and juniors, in management don't go. So they cut my name to John and took the junior off. So from then on, it's been John Cunningham since 1969.
My pops taught me to love Latin music and cooking too.
The Latin Aces That was my first professional real group of guys that I played with. We all went to school together, Dorsey High School. Right out of high school, we had these homemade instruments. I had some homemade congos that I made out of some pillars from this guy's house. They had a xylophone because we couldn't afford any vibroharps or anything like that. Tito had some big pans that he made timbales out of, and we made beautiful music. This is called Bella Blue Cheese Chicken Salad, and it's chicken and tomatoes and grapes and blue cheese and walnuts and lettuce.
Ooh, wow.
All kinds of fun stuff.
That should be good.
That's his mom, my grandma Shirley.
What was the name of it again?
Bella Blue Cheese Chicken Salad.
Bella?
My birth parents was my mother, Mary Bates Johnson, Mary Shirley Johnson, actually. Bates Johnson's her married name now. And my birth father is Leon Claxton, as I know it now today. I was actually raised on the show before the actual Claxton children came along. I was the only kid traveling with Harlem and Havana anyway.
Now in her 90s, Shirley Bates Johnson was a great dancer and choreographer who pioneered African American dance in the middle decades of the 20th century.
Dancer, choreographer, tried singing a little bit, made some costumes, a little bit off. Anything to deal with entertaining on the stage, she did it. But as far back as I can remember, she was a dancer. She called it exotic dancing, but actually it was burlesque.
She even got a chance to work with big names like Sammy Davis Jr.
The first place that I worked with them was in Tampa, and at the fairgrounds, on tents, all down the midway where they had other shows. There was Harlem and Havana, which was our show. Well, it was a tent show, and it was like a nightclub deal where they had the chorus line, the band, big band, and we had opening, middle number, and a finale. We did that, did the whole show. Then you have to go out on the Bally to encourage people to come in to see the show, which they would do. They'd buy their tickets and come on in.
Shake, exotic, and chorus dancers from Kansas City, Missouri. Sisters Dolores, Gwendolyn, and Shirley Bates were some of the first brown skin belles to shamelessly shake and shimmy in the golden age of burlesque.
They inspired me to go. I always could dance, and they wanted me to go with them, and I wanted to go because I wanted to travel, and so Papa said it was okay, so I went.
Some people say the golden age of burlesque was way back at the very beginning. Some people in the late 1800s. Some people say the golden age of burlesque was in the 1960s or the 1950s. I think that the golden age of Black burlesque was right at the tail end of the 1930s all the way up until like the late 1960s. It just seems like during that time we were thriving in a way that we aren't even really thriving today. And so I think that it's really interesting that your grandfather's review and your grandmother as the lead dancer of this incredibly financially lucrative business. So that's beautiful. And Leslie, were you ever even a performer yourself? So this was sort of just like another world to you.
Another world. I mean, I am not a burlesque dancer. I love to dance, first of all, but I'm not a burlesque dancer. But I believe it's in my bloodline. I mean, my grandmother taught me to respect the art of exotic dance, of striptease.
What did your grandmother like to be called? Did she like to be called a showgirl, a shake dancer, a burlesque performer? What did she call herself?
Exotic dancer.
Exotic dancer. I used to get, that was me. And my jobs, that would be it. Well, you worked alone and you did exotic. It wasn't jazzy music, tap dancing and all that kind of stuff. It was strictly exotic movements. That was that was the show we did on a Saturday nights. Sometimes on Friday nights, if the crowd was good out there, that would be after the last regular show. And the people, if they would stay around for that ramble, then we'd do the show. And we had a couple of girls, strippers, and they were good.
You could see it wasn't part of my friend, it wasn't no bullshit. They were out there, baby, and they were beautiful. Oh, God.
I think that we can't put a 21st century context onto that particular time period, but it's important to note that the expressivity and liberation of women's bodies at that point and in a dancing context was not only light entertainment, or you could say entertainment provided for the male gaze. It also represented a certain type of liberation and self-control.
Did the strippers go fully nude, or did they strip down to pasties and a G-string? Because these days, burlesque performers, we have to keep it to pasties and a G-string most days at the very least. So were those same laws in place, or did they go fully? Did the strippers go fully nude?
Here's a great photo of one of the strippers, and she does have pasties on, and she's got a really thin sort of lining around the waist.
The strippers would have a little patty thing under them, but they would take the bras off and the whole 9 yards. They were stripped.
How did the audience like that?
Oh, they loved it. They would be clapping and hollering and carrying on.
That kind of economic power, as well as sexual power and liberation, speak to the potential future that comes out of the early performance, or at that time period, the performance and performers, and what they were able to sort of plant along the way.